Anthony looked dominating in the fight, but there is no way I'm that bad, right? It's obvious I was not even trying. All I care about is the money. I don't want to say I was paid to lose, but I think fans are smart enough to realize what they saw in that ring.
Right, I don't think he was there to actually fight him. What was the game plan? Stick and move, try and lunge in, try and shoot in a takedown? No, that's not how you win a boxing fight.
I didn't think it was a great AJ performance. Eventually, he did what he was supposed to do, but it wasn't the AJ performance we were looking for in terms of, this is the guy I want to go see fight Tyson Fury. But when he hit him with that right hand, and there's a picture out, Leo, if you'll find it and put it on the screen for me here, I want to say this. Everybody this week talked about JakePaul rigged fight, JakePaul rigs this, JakePaul fixed fight, JakePaul. Look at this picture of JakePaul's mouth. I mean, what a railroad would look like if an earthquake hit right in the middle of it. His jaw has been separated.
Rumors are swirling online that JakePaul may have been paid to lose. And again, that's fan talk, not facts.
Put the earnings of the Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua fight into perspective. Both fighters took home $93 million each in just 16 minutes. That's more than what Michael Jordan made in his 15-year career. Every 3 minutes, they made $15 million each, which is the same as the entire budget for one episode of Game of Thrones. Every single minute of the fight, they made $5 million each, which is more than what the New York Knicks make from one home game. And every single second of the fight, they made $93,000 each. That's more than what 85% of Americans make in 1 year. That makes the Paul vs. Joshua fight the second highest paid fight in 2025.
But it tells you how strange this fight felt to a lot of people watching. Joshua, a man who can end nights in minutes, waited until round 6 to unload. And that alone had timelines spinning.
Take out, make Jake hold his weight, and have the referee separate. That led to Jake, as soon as he felt AJ putting his weight on him or pushing him down, hitting the floor, diving at AJ's knees, and then eventually Jake would go to clinch and immediately fall to the ground on his own. And this became a problem because then it looked intentionally like Jake was going to the ground. There was one time where Jake went to the ground and AJ kept swinging on him. That I didn't like to see, but this was Jake's survival of the fittest moment. This was Darwinism in a boxing ring, right? He had to do whatever he could to just extend the fight and get one more, hope and pray shot, one more step back. He had a great step back uppercut, I think, in the 4th round that it clipped AJ. Honestly, you could see what AJ had said in their face-to-face, that he needed to break Jake's soul. He needed to break.
Add to that the way AJ looked unusually patient, almost slow by his own standards, in the early rounds. And for some fans, that became another clue, fueling the conspiracy chatter. People are saying, since when does Anthony Joshua stalk this calmly without pulling the trigger? Especially against the guy giving ground non-stop.
I think AJ was in a bit of a daze early on, just walking him around, touching the jab on his shoulder, not really pulling the trigger on the right hand. Didn't look like he got out of first gear. JakePaul was just on pure survival mode from round 1 right through to round 6. I don't know if he's got a moral victory going 6 rounds. Maybe he has. People might give him credit for going 6 rounds, but he got in there and just survived. He just went in there and ran like a chicken from round 1 right through to round 6 when he got splattered. And it's like, it's just, you can't really justify what he's done, because this is supposed to be a professional sanctioned boxing match. And I think it brings the integrity of the sport down when somebody like AJ, is a 2-time world champion, can't get in there and just completely dismiss somebody like JakePaul, who I've said for ages can't fight. He's not a professional boxer.
From there, the debate takes off. Some genuinely believe there's no universe where JakePaul survives 6 rounds with a heavyweight puncher like AJ unless something delayed the ending. The argument goes that Joshua flattened seasoned pros quicker. Yet here he was letting Jake circle, clinch, and run laps like he was avoiding airport security. That's where the whispers creep in. Half real fight, half prearranged pacing. Stretch it out, then let reality arrive on schedule.
I wish that I could have knocked him out at the start, but as we saw tonight, Jake has spirit. He has some heart. He tried his best, and I take my hat off to him because, number one, a lot of fighters haven't got in the ring with me, and Jake did. And secondly, even when he got knocked down, he kept on trying to get up, and I take my hat off to him. So America, I think you have someone who could potentially, if he still has the heart for it, come back again, dust the dirt off his shoulder, and come again and maybe sell out this center sometime in 2026, maybe against a Gervonta Davis, a Ryan Garcia. Who knows?
And look, I'm not saying anything was fixed. Boxing doesn't work like that. But I understand why people raised eyebrows when AJ didn't press the button early and looked at the gear slower than usual. In the end, though, whatever theories fans want to cook up, Joshua finally let that right hand go with bad intentions. And the moment it landed, all conspiracy talk vanished instantly because no script sends a jaw on an unplanned one-way trip to the South Pole. Whatever you believe about the build-up, the finish was pure heavyweight truth.
Or Jake would have moved around the ring at 100 miles an hour. There's two things I would have done. Tried to shut Jake down at 100 miles an hour, or I would have gone on the back foot. So Jake decided to move around the ring, and I decided to put the pressure on. What I could have done better is a lot of things. 100%. In the fight game, you've seen the amazing fighters that have graced us over the last 100 years, and the expectations that we put on ourselves are immense, but I tried my best.
And sliding smoothly from all that Paul Joshua chaos into Johnny Nelson's breakdown feels like switching from highlight noise to gym floor truth. Because Johnny isn't here to sell dreams. He's here to pop them. Listening to him, you can almost hear the gloves thwung in his memories as he explains what every real fighter knows. A man who's decided to survive is the most annoying opponent in the world. Johnny paints Jake as a guy who saw a 22 FFT ring clocked AnthonyJoshua standing there like a statue carved out of pressure and instantly chose flight over fight.
Instinct is going to kick in. Instinctively, he ran. Instinctively, he tried to spoil. Instinctively, he just wanted to survive. And any fighter knows, the general public won't get it. Any fighter knows if you're in there with someone that just wants to survive, they are the hardest people to get rid of.
And honestly, when Johnny says that instinct kicks in, I believe him because we all saw it once reality hit. The bold talk evaporated, and survival mode took over. What I love is how he flips the frustration back onto AJ too, saying it's actually harder than it looks when someone refuses to engage, keeps dropping, keeps spoiling, and keeps stealing time like it's a side hustle. Johnny's take that people wanted a clean cinematic knockout but instead got the slow draining of confidence is cold but accurate because this wasn't about flash. It was about inevitability.
To go in and fight. I think JakePaul had a reality check. So all these bold predictions that he was going to do. Reality kicked in once he was stood there in that big 22-foot ring with AnthonyJoshua in the corner. All of a sudden he's got to back up the post and he's thinking, damn, I really have to back up the post. And then he realised once the bell had gone, this is real. So he did everything he could to survive. And in a way, I felt sorry for AnthonyJoshua because I thought, this guy, he didn't want to fight. He's going to keep moving and moving and moving. And yeah, Jake threw one or two desperate haymakers, hoping it'd hit something. And he did.
When he talks about that one clean shot finally landing and breaking Jake's resolve, not just his jaw, that's boxing language, not internet drama. He even gives Jake credit in a backhanded way, saying he created the moment, brought the eyes, and played the business game perfectly. But once the bell rang, the fantasy had an expiration date. And the sharpest line in all of it is Johnny basically saying, this didn't help AJ grow. It just reminded everyone who reality belongs to. No hype, no hatred, just a former pro telling you straight. When belief runs into experience, experience doesn't rush. It waits, and eventually it collects.
AJ was getting frustrated because he wanted that clean KO. And so the time when the one clean shot hit him, it broke his jaw and went down. So he knew, realistically, if you're in a fight and you get hit, sometimes you're going to get hit and you'll try and bullshit and get your way through. The one clean shot we saw get hit with, he had a choice of staying up or going down. And he's like, nope. It was like a split second time delay. And he had to.
And flowing right out of Johnny Nelson's old school boxing logic, the vibe shifts again when Michael Bisping jumps in because now it's less gym wisdom and more brutally honest couchside reaction. I'm listening to Bisping, and I can tell instantly he's not buying the idea that this was some hidden classic you need to rewatch on a rainy day. He's basically saying, yeah, AJ won. But let's not pretend this was fireworks. And honestly, I get it. We all saw Joshua stalking like a man waiting for a bus that was laid on purpose while Jake treated the ring like a cardio track, circling, dipping, grabbing, and occasionally forgetting this wasn't MMA. Bisping calling AJ sloppy and tentative isn't hate, it's expectation. Because when you've seen Joshua flatten real heavyweights, you expect menace, not patience that borders on polite.
First of all, they both stepped in the ring. They were paid $92 million. They both get to go home to their families, and no one got injured. No one's dead. No one's going to the hospital. They're both fine. Apparently, JakePaul claims that he's got a broken jaw, spat a little bit of blood out, right? But the fight itself wasn't anything to remember. It really wasn't, right? AnthonyJoshua was a little sloppy. He was tentative. He took his time. He said he was trying to break him down, look for the shots, and maybe it's because he'd been out the ring for 15 months, okay, and last went up against Daniel Dubois, or maybe it's because he felt like a bit of a bully going up against JakePaul, but he didn't seem like he really had nasty intent.
And the funniest part is Bisping admitting he looked away for a second and missed the finish, which honestly sums up the fight better than any scorecard. Jake was shooting takedowns like he thought Herb Dean might jump in at any moment. The ref was trying to remember which sport he was officiating. And AJ almost overthinks something that was always going to end one way. That's the chaos we watched. I like that Bisping keeps it fair, though, because he respects the courage without pretending the strategy made sense. Basically saying surviving isn't the same as competing. And when he compares it to real finishes, real exchanges, and real danger, you hear the fighter in him saying this wasn't about skill gaps closing. It was about time running out. In the end, it felt like a spectacle that sold big, paid everybody, and reminded us that heavyweight boxing doesn't care how famous you are. Eventually, someone lands, and the story wraps itself up. Whether the pacing was pretty or not.